the morning watching some of the highlights. Man, I will tell you what. So here's like my timeline, and I think a lot of people's timeline of Tom Brady. Like, he comes to the league, you're like, this young guy, a great story, third stringer, and then wins the Super Bowl, and then he wins like 6 Super Bowls. So everyone hates him. And then the longer he plays, the more people love him. I heard something today of there are now 6 people in Canton, Ohio, in the Hall of Fame that have played after when Tom Brady played his first game and then have already retired. 6 Hall of Famers in that time span. I mean, the guy is ageless. What he's doing right now is remarkable. Just the zip. I was watching some of the highlights of his throws. The zip on this ball, it's like he's in his prime.
It's incredible. It really is. And the game, of course, on NBC last night to kick off the season. Love listening to Al and Chris, and it's great that the Browns will get on Sunday Night Football as well, and hopefully more Sunday Night Football games to come. But Sunday, really, the featured game, we're going to have the big boys. We're going to have Tony Romo and Jim Nantz calling the Chiefs and Browns. So,
are you a Romo guy? Are you a Romo guy, Dave?
I think he came out strong, and I think the opinion was that he was really, really good. He got the big contract. I don't know if I would put him as my number one. I really love Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. That's my favorite.
You can't beat those guys. Yeah, you can't beat those guys.
And I'm not just saying it because it's on NBC. Those two are the best. I have no problem with Romo. I mean, he gets a little carried away at times, but the bottom line is, though, you got the big crew on this big game. So what are your expectations on Sunday against the Chiefs? Do you expect the Browns to come out and show last year wasn't a fluke and maybe beat the Chiefs or at least take them down to the wire? Or do you think that, the Chiefs are going to, have a bad taste in their mouth after the way last year ended and they're going to come out and send a message?
I think that will definitely – I think the Chiefs are probably foaming at the mouth right now to get back out there, especially, being in the Super Bowl, losing the Super Bowl, especially in the way they did. That game wasn't close. Their offensive line was horrendous. They have a new offensive line right now. One of my Hawkeyes, Austin Blythe, leading at center for the Chiefs. So I think that they're going to come out hot. But also, I think the Browns are going to pick up from where they were last year. And here, I'm going to preface this by saying this is not if we lose this game, it's all everything, we need to unload everything, and it's not a death sentence to the season. But we're considering the Browns to be a Super Bowl contender, as they should be with the lineup that they have, the players that they have, especially the season that they had last year too. I'm expecting them to pick up right where they left off. And if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best. And over the past 5 years, the Chiefs have been some of the best in the NFL, led by Patrick Mahomes. And I think that the Browns, it'll set a great precedent for the season of where this takes place. If they lose this game, which I think it's going to be a good game. If I had to put money on the game, I think I would be forced to take the Chiefs just based on history alone. But I think the Browns are going to come out shooting. I think it's going to be a slugfest. Avery, what about you?
Yeah. Well, I agree with what you said about this isn't the end all. If they lose this game, that the expectation should be down. I think the only way it would be a true bummer is, I don't know if you remember in 2019, we were all excited, when they were going to face Tennessee and the Titans took it to them and it was like, what happened? If they got
here's the difference though, Dave, is our head coach, and they were so undisciplined that year.
True.
And I agree. If that would be the biggest shock to me, I think of anything, is if the Browns came out and played undisciplined football.
Yeah, well, they're not going to play undisciplined football, I don't think, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm saying the only way we have a bad taste in our mouth is if the final score is like 42-3, right? And you see signs. But so I'm going to go, unfortunately, with you on that prediction. If I'm forced to have to pick a winner, I'm going to go Kansas City. I think that it will be like 30. I think it's going to be very close, like maybe a 3-point game. And then at the very end, maybe the Chiefs cover with some sort of cheap touchdown or something. So maybe like a 34-24 type of win for the Chiefs. Nothing would surprise me. A Browns win would not shock me. I just think in that home field edge, it's one of the loudest, if not loudest, outdoor stadiums in the NFL, Austin. And, the Browns, and I talked about it this morning on the show. Remember last year, They didn't have a bullseye on their back. They didn't play in front of sold-out crowds. It is going to be a tough environment in that week one. It's kind of, it's like exciting to have this mega matchup and this rematch in week one. Same time, equal parts exciting, but also it's a bummer that you have to face the Chiefs in week one. Like, can't we get the Jets or something like that? The Browns have only won one opening game since '99. Think about that. One time, 2004, they beat the Ravens. Other than that,
that's like hard to do almost.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And what last year our opener was, sorry, I caught you mid-sentence. Someone was knocking on my window over here, Dave. The beauties of being parked downtown. But I agree. The last year we got ran over by the Ravens. That was first game, correct?
Right. Yeah.
They came out slugging. But everyone's talking about we talked about this earlier, is that the Chiefs are, they're going to be foaming at the mouth, but also the Browns should be foaming at the mouth. They should have won that game in the AFC Championship. And then they saw the Chiefs go out and go to the Super Bowl. That should have been the Browns of everything that went their way. And obviously, it helped that Patrick Mahomes got knocked out of that game. But I think the Browns are going to come out firing here. Dave, what do you think is going to be, just looking at the season as well, what's going to be the biggest, thing that the Browns need to focus on for this season?
Well, I think that
to be Super Bowl contenders.
Well, what they have to do is they have to keep their identity of being a run-first team. But in the NFL, you saw last night, man, Dak Prescott and Tom Brady. And I think they combined for 7 touchdowns. The yardage was off the hook. One threw for over 400. The other one was in the 300s. In the NFL, you have to be able to pass to win. You have to be a dynamic passing team. So Baker needs to take that next step. But what this Browns team can do is they can send Chubb at you, then take him off the field, Hunt attacks, and then Chubb is still fresh at the end of the game. And that's a dynamic I don't think really any other team in the NFL has, 2 backs like that. But a lot of people think they're going to pass more. I think they'll still be run first, but add a little more to the playbook in the air attack. But I think the 3 things, and I talked about it this morning, the 3 things that could derail this season, because we can sit here and say Super Bowl, they're going to win it all. That wouldn't be fair to you. I mean, fans, everyone can do that. I looked at 3 things that could possibly derail this season, and they are simply this. If Baker Mayfield goes back and reverts back to 2 years ago and throws 21 interceptions, if there's any drama with Odell Beckham Jr., I hope there wouldn't be, and I would hope Stefanski would nip that in the bud. But that's where one that could derail him. Number 2, you're looking at possibly 8-9 new guys starting on defense. If the defense doesn't mesh, because that was the problem last year. I think it can. I think it will. But if it doesn't, that's a problem. And number 3, injuries. No one can control that. If your studs go down, that could derail the season. So those are kind of the pitfalls that you're looking at. But, I think they're really set up to have another double-digit win season.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with everything you're saying. If Baker can be second half Baker from last year, what he had, 4 interceptions or something like that coming down the stretch. He needs to be accurate. It's a contract year right now. They're talking about big money for him. So he needs to play up to that as well to earn that money. And David, it's interesting that you say about the injuries because, last year our whole defense was basically injured, but they've done a good job of bringing new people in. But if those key guys again continue to get injured, the Denzel Wards, the Greedy Williams, then you're going to have to look for the future of being like, okay, like maybe these aren't our guys because they can't stay on the field.
Yeah, there are a few guys that have been injury prone, no doubt about it.
But regardless, I'm looking forward to the season, man. It's going to be great. Got Bears Browns tickets. Got for my hometown Browns or my hometown Bears and for the Browns. I'm pumped up. So let's go Brownies.
Yeah. 2 more things because got to go here and get to our live cut-ins here. But
I got breakfast, man.
Number one, you can go to WKYC.com. The digital team does a great job covering the Browns, no doubt about it. And one of the features they do is they ask all the talent and people that work at Channel 3, producers, all kinds of people get on and make their predictions. So you can check that article out. I believe that will be coming out today or tomorrow. And that's something pretty fun to watch to see what everyone thinks is going to happen. And of course, the digital team has you covered all day long on Sunday. Second thing, bottom line, we do not leave without saying happy birthday Austin Love. I'll tell you what, buddy.
Thank you,
what
Dave.
a big day. Thank God you were born.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Who would be razzing you all day if it wasn't for me, Dave? So I appreciate it. And here's one thing. Thanks for being in on my birthday. You and Holly made it to September 10th. We have Maureen is off. Danielle is off. Jasmine's off. I don't even get my own birthday off. I got to call my agent. I got to get this figured out, man.
Well, by working on your birthday, you got to showcase yourself more.
That is true. That is true. I love a good birthday.
All right, we got to get moving here.
Love you guys.
Brown's comments. Austin, happy birthday. Great to see you, buddy.
Thank you.
For all of us here at Channel 3 and the Go Morning Team, thanks for watching, and we will see you on